Did you see NPR is leaving Twitter over the label of state-affiliated media? Wait, what? Why? Wait, what? Wait. I don't understand that. Like, God, American exceptionalism is so fucking annoying. That's so fucking dumb. NPR becomes the first major news org to stop using Twitter, saying that the Elon Musk owned platform is actions that undermine our credibility. Wait, why? Wait. Whoa. Why does that undermine your credibility? Aren't you giving the game away then? You're saying that it undermines the credibility? Didn't they do this about BBC as well? This is the one right thing that Elon Musk has done in a sea of wrongs, and everyone is fucking upset. That's crazy. The BBC is funded by licenses, so it's technically not state broadcasters, is bullshit. It is. It is operated by the state. Shut the fuck up. So, same with NPR. We are not putting our journalism on platforms that have demonstrated an interest in undermining our credibility. That's crazy. They're giving the game away. They're literally giving the fucking game away. They're saying that when you get slapped with the fucking state-affiliated media, it's done specifically to undermine the credibility. NPR gets like 13% of their funding from governments, but sure, it doesn't matter. Okay, who cares? What do you mean? Who cares? They're still absolutely state media. NPR is state media. BBC is state media. There's nothing wrong with openly stating that they're state media. They're editorially independent. That is a laughable notion. They are not editorially independent. Get the fuck out of here, okay? Brother, private institutions are not editorially independent as it pertains to basically fucking following the State Department propaganda. What do you mean? Are you a baby? Are you a baby leftist? Have you never thought about this? Like, what are you talking about? No, come on. Please think about it. Check their tweet because you're currently taking an L. They didn't say they're leaving. Okay, but they did fucking post this. What are you talking about? You're equating them to places like RT that's state funded? Yeah, I am. They are state funded. They are absolutely state funded. What do you mean? They are NPR state media, just like RT is. They might be less unhinged when it comes to propaganda in comparison to RT. Russia Today's ideological underpinnings are inconsistent. It's just like fuck the West and whatever sticks type shit. Okay? Like on one broadcast, they'll talk about how America is imperialist, and on the next one, they'll talk about how America is homosexual and degenerate. But as far as being state funded / being state media, it's true. It's just that you are conditioned not to think. And I say this as someone who listens to NPR every fucking morning, every goddamn morning. I listen to NPR more than you. I read NPR more than you. Okay? I'm telling you right now, NPR, without a fucking shadow of doubt, without a shred of doubt in my mind, is state media. And BBC is as well. The only reason why you don't feel that way is because it's on the West. So you think oh no. Al Jazeera is state media as well. NPR is stepping away from Twitter, and this includes NPR politics feed. Please read the thread to find other ways to find our work. What the fuck? NPR's actual government-funded media account follows me? That's crazy. I would ask you to read the actual definition if you click the label. It's an attack, in my opinion. About government and state-affiliated media accounts and labels on Twitter. How government accounts are defined. State-affiliated media is defined as outlets where the state exercises control over editorial content through financial resources, direct or indirect political pressures, or control over production and distribution. It's true. How publicly funded media accounts are defined. Media organizations that receive funding from license fees. Yeah, they did this because they fucking cried about it. They made this designation because BBC and NPR probably cried about it. That's why they did it. By the way, I don't even have an issue with state media, for the record. Just remember that. I hope you understand that. I don't have an issue. I am very much fond of state media. I think state media is a necessity. I think NPR is pretty good, other than when they're talking about America's foreign interests, in which case they're not good. Better than others, but still not good. Okay? But yeah, what do I always tell you? You have to remember what every fucking outlet's biases are. Where they lay is how their content is cut. What they choose to omit, what they choose to talk about is absolutely relevant to their funding mechanism and why they exist. Voice of America's actual state media as are radio-free entities, but NPR is federally supported, not federally run, just like PBS. Yeah. PBS is another great example of this. But it doesn't matter. They still have state affiliations. I would consider them state media. Voice of America is like direct propaganda, direct CIA propaganda. Radio-free iterations are direct CIA propaganda. NPR is more akin to a BBC-style state media. I think Voice of America is better. At least I'm getting that pure CIA propaganda. Yeah. NPR is funded by Bill and Melinda Gates. What are you saying? NPR's decision to leave Twitter shows how liberals have the same stupid reactionary tendencies to the right on culture war shit and how American liberals have completely lost faith in state institutions to be forces for good. Yeah. It's a unique predicament that I'm in when I'm covering the story because I don't think that there's anything wrong with state media or having a designation of state media. But because everyone receives state media with the intended liberal purpose of like slander, like a slur, they see it as a pejorative, they are getting very angry over this designation being slapped on NPR or the BBC. Okay? If you think that the BBC, in and of itself, does not have the same motivations to oftentimes churn out whatever kind of State Department propaganda is coming down, is basically being disseminated through every other outlet, including the supposedly quote-unquote independent media outlets. I don't know what to tell you. I have had this conversation so many times. It's like funny to have it over and over again, but I guess, that is the nature of the Hasanabi broadcast. Dude, even I got heated the way you put it, and I agreed with you beforehand. When you look to state media that is like completely funded, okay, like Al Jazeera, for example, I've said this so many times, don't expect them to be honest about issues that pertain to Qatar and the national interests that Qatar has, right? They're great when it comes to talking about like Palestine. They're great when it comes to talking about like America, European countries, all that sort of stuff. But if you expect them to give you, honest information about what's going on in Qatar, it's not going to happen. They're state media. The same principle applies, in my opinion, to the BBC and to NPR and to PBS. As far as biases between CNN and NPR goes, I think, given how fucking corruptible CNN is, NPR is better. I think state media is literally still better. Yeah. Chat should go see how the invasion of Iraq was covered by the BBC and NPR. Exactly. Why the fuck do you think so many people mistrust media in general? They do that because they showed their asses during the invasion, okay? They showed why they are technically state media. The label makes the average Joe less willing to trust NPR over CNN. Yeah, I don't care about that. I care about the truth. And NPR in and of itself is, I think it's valid to consider NPR and BBC and PBS to be state media or state affiliated media or whatever you want to fucking call it. Doesn't matter. Okay? Just like the Chinese media apparatus, just like the Russia Today accounts, they are better outlets than the Russia Today accounts, of course. They're significantly better than even private media, but it doesn't matter. It's still the truth. Does that make sense? Democracy Now! Is entirely, I think it's a 501c3. Actually, not even I think. They are a 501c3. They're just entirely funded by donations. Who funds Democracy Now! I do. I have in the past. All this change serves to accomplish is legitimize state media that is actually controlled by the state. Yeah, I don't know. Anarchid X, thank you for the 5 year the subs. Faustini, the fact that you compared NPR and BBC to RT just tells you that you view everything not through a socialist prism, but through a warped anti-imperialist American view that you formed entirely on what you lived through in 2003. The world has changed. Thank you for the $3 donation to Faustini. I don't know why you just didn't write that in the chat. I would have fucking seen your annoying take in the chat regardless and would have responded to you. I don't know if you're banned or not. But for the record, I don't know if you heard that while you were like feverishly typing that donation out or not. But I already told you, I prefer the commentary and the editorial independence in comparison to Russia Today. In NPR, I would much rather look at NPR than I would look at Russia Today, unless I'm trying to understand what the next line of attack from the Russian state is supposed to be, what their Western-focused propaganda looks like. That is the only purpose that RT serves, and it doesn't even serve that good of a purpose in general. What I'm talking about simply is the truth behind the matter. But I also don't even think that being a state media broadcaster is a bad thing. You think that because you think that it's only America's enemies that are state media. Only America's enemies do state propaganda. Liberals get triggered by this because they're ultimately capitalist. And this is inherently an anti-capitalist subject. So any kind of like, oh, you banned him? That's why? Okay, let's unban him. Well, that's what the West has been conditioned to think, that state media is bad, and in fact, it's communism. Yeah, state media is kind of socialist, and I don't have an issue with it. How about that? That's my perspective on it. Anyway, I worked at NPR affiliated station. Anyone who has listened enough knows that anytime they talk foreign policy, it is 100% state slanted, especially with who their guests are on those issues, usually current or former state employees. Smile. Ding, ding, ding. Same goes for private media entities in the United States of America as well. But again, correct. It's a distinction that frustrates people, but it's ultimately still correct. This reaction is very stupid. They should not do this. This is a dumb reaction, in my opinion.